In this assignment, we're going to create an accounts receivable aging pivot table with the following table headings. And to do that, first we're going to need to click on our accounts receivable data tab, and we're going to need to classify each one of our invoices as being currently due 31 to 60 days, 61 to 90, 91 to 120, and so on. First step then is to calculate how old our receivable is. So we'll take our report date, anchoring that, and subtract off the invoice date, and that will tell us how old a particular invoice is. Next, we have to place it in one of these groupings. We're going to use Excel's if functions to do that. Equals if, parenthesis, and I'm going to click on the little function wizard here to pop up the pop-up box for this. Our logical test in this case is we want to simply ask if the days or age of our receivable is less than 31. If that's true, then we want to pick up a value, which in this case is 1939 in this cell. Otherwise, we want to just pick up the amount 0. And we can hit OK, and I'll copy that down, and we can see that where our invoice is less than 30 days, we're picking up an amount. Let's go ahead with the 31 to 60 day block. We're going to use an AND function because we have to perform two logical tests. So equals AND, parenthesis. I'm going to hit the function wizard again to pull up the logical test. First thing we want to ask is the days greater than 30 days? And the second thing would be, is the days less than 61 days? And I'm going to hit OK. Now, notice, in this case, that's false. But in the next one, when it's 36 days, that condition would be true. 36 days, true. 63 days, false. Now we're going to embed this function in an if statement. So between the equal sign and the and, we're going to type in if and put in a parenthesis. And notice the logical if test comes up, so we can hit the fx for the function wizard. And we're going to go to the end of that. And our true value would be, if it's true, we want to pick up the invoice amount. So if it's true, we want to pick up the invoice amount. If the condition is false, we want to pick up 0. And we can hit OK. And we can copy that on down. And notice, at 36 days, we've got an amount. 85 days, nothing. 94 days, nothing. 36 days, we've picked up an amount. So you're going to need to repeat this function using, of course, different days for your logical test. For the 61, the 91 to 120, and then over 120 days will be a simple logical test without the AND function. Once you've completed your aging schedule in terms of your data set, we're going to create our pivot table. To create our pivot table, we're going to highlight the top row of our data set that has its labels and all of the rows in our data set. Then we're going to come up to the top menu, Insert, and we're going to insert a pivot table. We've already indicated the data range by highlighting it. We are going to use an existing worksheet, and that existing worksheet is our aging by customer. So click on the Aging by Customer worksheet, and let's put this right up here in column or cell A1, and we'll hit OK. Here's our pivot table, and here are our pivot field input fields. These were the labels off the top of our AR data set. We're going to first want to pick up accounts receivable by customer. That's going to be our row labels. So we want totals for customer. We're also going to want totals for our sales regions, and what we're going to want to pick up are values. So we're going to want to pick up the total amount. Well, actually, we'll pick up the 0 to 30 days, the 31 to 60 days, the 61 to 90, the 91 to 20, and the over 120 days. On our table, I also wanted to pick up the average age of a customer's receivable. So I'm going to put in the days field here. Now, on the days, I'm going to move the days to the top. And notice, instead of summing it, we want just an average. So we're going to go to Field Value Settings, and we want just an average of the number of days. So we can put that there. Also, right now, we don't have a very good table because if we look, our customer appears before the sales region. Let's group by the sales region. So we're going to move the sales region up top. Now we have the average length of receivables for each one of our customers, and it's all by sales region and the amount for each customer in terms of aging. The amounts that are due 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60, and so on. I do want to go ahead and reformat and have our average receivables without these decimals. To do that, if you come back over to average days, click on that, field value settings, and we can have show values as, actually, no, we're going to OK on that. Again, come back over to average number of days, field value settings, and our number format. We want a number, and we want 0 decimal places. So we can hit then OK. OK. Now notice we've got average number of days. At the top of our report, instead of having the 0 to 30, the sum of, we can go in here and edit these. And we're just going to make it 0 to 30 days, 0 to 60 days, or 31 to 60 days rather. And you can go ahead and again look at the instruction tab and set everything up label-wise, number of invoice, average age, total due, and so on. We haven't actually done the total due yet. We'll do that here in just a second. So coming back over to our aging by customers, we need to add our total due. We do that by, we're going to click on the amount, and notice the sum of the amount, which is what we want to change to total due, appeared on the far side, but we can make that total due. And in terms of where it appears, if we come down to our list here, total due, we can move that up to the top of our list. Average days, let's move that up to total due in front of the average days. We can also see on our report here we had something for the number of invoices. How many accounts receivable does Armstrong have with us? Right now they have 6, Brubaker has 6, Davis has 3. So let's go ahead and pick that up also in our pivot table. So come back over to our aging by table, invoice date. I don't want that in the row labels field, I want that over the values field. Put that over here. And count of invoices is what I want to set that to in terms of value field settings. I want to count how many of those I have, and so you can see we can count, we can sum, we can average, max, min, we can take products. We can do a lot of different functions with the values that appear in these fields. So again, make sure that this is formatted like the graphic right here, and once we've done that, you're going to want to come back to your AR by customers, copy this over to your AR by region tab. Then once you're over here, I want you to go ahead and we can close out this pivot field list, but I want you to close off or minimize the detail by customer. So we only have the amount due by each one of our regions. And again, make sure your column headings are the same, your formatting is the same, etc. Last thing then on our instruction tabs, we are going to go ahead and calculate the estimated percentage that is collectible or uncollectible and the amount. So we're going to use 1%, 5, 10, 15, and 25. So we'll type those on our worksheet here. Then of course we can calculate the amount. 1% of our current sales or current amounts due, 213, 5% of the 28,230, and so on. And then of course once we have all the totals, we're going to want to sum those amounts and our exercise is done. Again, your tables to get full credit should look just like these in terms of formatting and the setup in terms of the labels on the columns and everything. So make sure your full credit, everything ties in exactly with these pivot table column amounts.